G'day punters, welcome to the mailbag as we look back at day one of the BPL with our man Bushy, the Backhopper. Bushy, welcome to the show and congratulations on day one.
Thanks, Curly. Good results, mate.
Good results overall. 75% profit on turnover on all the suggested staking plans throughout the day. We bet into four events, was
Yep.
it?
Yep.
You left one go, which was a good call. We'll go back
They actually went as good as your shirt, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know how I found that.
Oh, mate. Yeah. Anyway.
I brought this when we won a final about 8 years ago. Look, without a word of a lie, I watched that last game and against two teams that have been in the final the last couple of years, the Steamers and the Ospreys. That I don't watch a lot of lawn bowls, Bushy, but that was quite entertaining. The skills on show in that game was amazing.
Oh, the execution from both teams was unbelievable, to be honest. The first set, Bester was on fire, and then the second set, I thought Chloe Stewart was outstanding up front. Her consistency on the lead, where it was a night where others struggled, she was outstanding.
She was. We'll get to that game in a little bit more depth. We'll go back to the first match that we bet, the Melbourne Pulse versus the Perth Suns. Now, you went for the outsider here in the Pulse. A little bit of support from subscribers got it into, I think they started favourite. This seemed to be a pretty well-executed game and win by the Pulse there.
Yeah, look, what I've seen from the Pulse so far is they've got a big inclusion, and that's the coach. Their tactics today was outstanding. They actually they did a bit of research and they changed the length big time. They played ditch to ditch against this particular team, and they must have done their notes because it was a match-winning move. And the Pulse, I thought they got that market wrong. I thought after the first game, they were clearly the team to beat, and it just showed you that they were too good.
Yeah, that was the big Irishman, Gary Kelly.
Yeah, look, Gazza in the tiebreaker actually played an absolute peach with his last bowl. I thought they were a little bit unlucky not to win in straight, but in saying that, too good, and that's why you put your chips in with these sort of players, because at the end of the day they don't get flustered when down game, and what a shot it was to take out the two bowls.
It was. The next round that we bet in was we took once. I think this was also the outsider. We're on the Melbourne Royals to beat the Adelaide Pioneers. You made mention in your preview that Aaron Wilson is a player for the Royals and he's a Commonwealth Games gold medalist, and he could probably swing it our way just off his own backhand and forehand.
Exactly.
What did you make of that game?
Look, once again, the tactics were interesting here. Matty Flapper started off with skip. Wilson started off lead, and then at the back end towards the second set, he flipped over onto the skip. And we've seen a couple of teams use those sort of tactics, but I thought Matty Flapper was the difference. He was able to execute on the rink that others couldn't, and he was the difference to get us over the line. I thought Adelaide struggled throughout the day, and it's probably moving forward a team that we can sort of look to go against. And we really the 215 about the Royals was overs, to be honest.
Yep. Well, that's so. I think we were 2 for 2 at that stage, and you thought the Sydney Lions was another team that was over the odds. Now the Melbourne Pulse we had been on earlier. You identified early that the Melbourne Pulse had been well coached, and obviously Mark Casey, who coaches the Pulse, had put a lot of work into the opposition teams, but they put up 265 about the Lions. And as you mentioned, Aaron Sheriff, best player in the world, again, another player with the ability to win the game on his own back. Didn't quite go our way.
No, so they were 265 into $1.80, and the Pulse got out to $1.95, and they probably shouldn't have been that price, $1.95, and Sydney probably shouldn't have been that price, $2.65. But look, Aaron Sheriff, I haven't seen him play many games where he hasn't been able to handle the rink, but tonight was one of those nights, and possibly probably should have used a wider set of bowls, because what you'll find, Curly, is that they played on that rink this afternoon in daylight, and then getting on towards the night game, change of climate, plays totally different. And you'll see some of the players, when they throw them out that little bit wider, they stay there. And he just could not be effective on a night tonight. So what looked to be overs in 265, they got completely wiped. So that was one that I got wrong, and I'm probably going to say that I won't be betting into the Lions again for the BPL 12, mate.
Well, interesting thing, I suppose, after you've seen day one, you could see the change on the rink, and that was probably highlighted in that last game. There was a bit of commentary from the players, the Osprey players in particular. We're getting a little bit annoyed with the change of speed, maybe, or something they were talking about there. As the night got cooler, things changed.
Yeah, absolutely. Teasy made it pretty obvious for everyone that both hands were a little bit different in speed. But in saying that, they're both playing on it, and they did say that. But, when it mattered, both players were able to execute, Bester and T, so, and also Chloe Stewart. So
you mentioned...
look, I thought it was still a pretty good standard. Still a pretty good standard. I just thought one team in particular probably got the tactics wrong tonight. That was the Perth Suns, probably leaving Ray Pearce on the bench for too long. They had two ends there in the first set, where they could have turned that around. And I'll be definitely making a note of that moving forward.
Now, we mentioned the Ospreys and the Steam as the last game. The Ospreys were a team that you were keen on when we did the preview for the tournament. They went up at $2 on Top Sport, and they bet, I think, $1.95 in the end. You were pretty keen on them. You'd sent out a unit bet, and although it was like the last bowl of the night, it was obviously the Ospreys and the Steamers, on what you saw, obviously have got the capabilities to go all the way in this tournament. Bester is a complete freak. How's the focus and the eyes popping out of his head just before release? I was frightened.
It's unreal, isn't it? It's unreal. But his drives, like the percentages of actually getting the two bowls like that on the last end are low, very low, right, for anyone. But for him to actually pick that shot out and say, you know what, I'm going to take those two bowls out, just shows the class of the bloke. And, I would say 85, 90, 95% of players would have gone for the draw to try and draw it. But, he's just different. He's different gravy, to be honest. So we're lucky to get the chocolates there with the last bowl. And Teasy, we can buy him a beer for that one.
For sure. Does he like one, does he?
He does.
What about some of the other teams that we sort of didn't bet into? But just your opinion on the Brisbane Pirates, the young player there that led off for them, I think. They said I heard in the call about like a under 18 champion twice, young player seemed to handle the occasion well. These younger players.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just given them a quick mark. According to how they went after day one, moving forward, Melbourne Pulse was outstanding, huge tick, can win it, and are into favourites in my book. I've got a professional. Curls, they'll be locked up in bed, mate. They would have had an hour and a half sleep by now. That's how professional they are. I thought the Roys were the bigger improver today. I probably have them penciled in midway, middle of the table, so they went excellent. Brisbane probably also outdid what I thought they would do, so real positives. And then Sydney Lions and also the Perth Suns, for me, probably disappointed moving forward.
So you'll be looking to oppose a couple of those teams, and there's a couple of teams that you can't bet against, I suppose. It just depends what the market comes up with tomorrow. We sort of found as the day went on, there was a couple of places go up as the competition went on throughout the night. So at least it gives us a few options there from a wagering perspective, which is good. So yeah, overall, we've got away with a good start to the tournament. A winning day is always a good day. Have you had a look at the programming for tomorrow, and where do you think we'll be honing in, just to give the guys at home listening a bit of an idea for the times to be looking out for?
Yeah, absolutely, Curly. I have had a look, and I'm pretty keen on the night session once again. As I said, we only have one play there today during the day session, and I thought the market got it wrong, but I think the TV games we can really dissect the good from the bad and the winning from the losing. So I'm going to focus in on the night session again, which will start at about 5 o'clock.
Beautiful. First game was at about 5:15, I think, wasn't it, today? So similar times for tomorrow. All right, Bushy. Well, it's all a great start. Like I said earlier, I've got to be honest with you, that tuning in and watching it, and like, it means something when you've had a couple of bucks on it. I was kicking it home like I'd kick any runner home at the races. So really enjoyed it. Thanks very much to you for your analysis and holding our hands through our first day of betting the BPL. Look forward to doing all again tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. No, it was a really good result, mate. And you're only as good as your last bowl, mate. And I think we won. We got the chocolates with a Backhopper there in the last bowl of the last game.
We did, and look forward to doing it again tomorrow.
Go on, you Kells.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.